The Mercer family had been warned. The realtor had smiled too wide when she handed over the keys. The neighbors had gone quiet when they saw the moving truck pull up. Old Mrs. Henley from across the street had simply closed her curtains and never opened them again. But Daniel Mercer had laughed it all off. "A house is a house," he told his wife Sarah, as they carried boxes through the front door. "Bricks and wood. Nothing more." His daughter Lily, a teenager, the kind of girl who noticed things adults pretended not to see, had stood at the threshold and refused to step inside for a full 3 minutes. "Lily, come on," Daniel urged. She finally stepped in. But she didn't smile. That was 3 months ago. It was a Tuesday. Just a Tuesday. Nothing special about it. Leftover pasta, a half-finished candle on the table, the low hum of the kitchen light that Daniel kept meaning to fix. Sarah set the plates down. Lily sat in her usual chair, her thick-framed glasses slightly crooked on her nose, pushing pasta around without eating. Daniel poured himself a glass of water and leaned back, cracking a joke about his terrible day at work. It was almost normal. Almost. Sarah picked up her fork, and then stopped. Her eyes drifted toward the window beside the dining table, the one that faced the side yard, the one where nothing ever happened. The yard was dark. It was November, and the nights came fast. But there, just there, in the black glass of the window, between the curtain and the frame, was a face. Not a reflection. A face. White as candle wax. Eyes too far apart. A mouth that hung slightly open, not in a scream, but in something worse. A quiet, patient wanting. Sarah's fork hit the plate. "Sarah?" Daniel looked up. She couldn't speak. Her hand rose slowly, trembling, and pointed at the window. Daniel turned. The face was gone. Just darkness. Just yard. Just the ordinary November night. "There was something there," Sarah whispered. Daniel stared at the window for a long moment. It was probably just a reflection. The candle, maybe. It had eyes, Daniel. Lily had not looked at the window. She was still staring at her pasta. Perfectly still. "Lily." Sarah reached across the table. "Did you see?" "Don't ask her that," Daniel said quietly. A silence fell over the table. Then the house spoke. It started small. A sound from somewhere above them. A dragging sound. Slow, rhythmic, like something being pulled across the floor of the room directly above. Scrape. Pause. Scrape. "That's just the pipes," Daniel said immediately. Old house. Old pipes. But then came the other sound. A voice. Low at first. Indistinct. Like hearing someone cry in the next room. You tell yourself it's the television. But it grew. Not louder, closer. As if whatever was making the sound was descending. Coming down toward them. A weeping. A deep, hollow, feminine weeping that had no warmth in it. No grief. No sadness. Just the hollow performance of grief. Like something that had learned what crying sounded like without ever understanding why humans did it. Sarah grabbed Daniel's arm across the table. Lily, very quietly, set down her fork. The candle flame bent sideways. There was no draft. And then, sharp, violent, obscenely normal, the phone rang. The landline. The old one mounted on the kitchen wall that they'd laughed about when they moved in. It rang 3 times before any of them moved. "Don't," Daniel said. But Sarah was already standing. It is a strange thing about people. When something ordinary interrupts something terrifying, we run toward the ordinary thing. The phone is ringing. The phone is something I understand. I will go to the phone. I'll just see who it is, she said, backing toward the kitchen. "Sarah," she lifted the receiver. Silence on the line. But not empty silence. A breathing silence. The kind that has weight. "Hello," she said. The weeping, the one from upstairs, the hollow, terrible weeping, came through the receiver, directly into her ear. Sarah screamed and spun around. The kitchen door swung shut. The lock clicked. "Sarah." Daniel was at the door in 3 steps, palm flat against the wood, rattling the handle. It didn't move. He threw his shoulder into it. Nothing. "Sarah, open the door." From inside, nothing. No scream. No answer. Not even footsteps. Just silence. Worse than any sound he could imagine. "Daddy." He turned. Lily stood perfectly still, her face white as paper, her glasses reflecting the bent candle flame. She was looking at the kitchen door. "She'll be okay," Daniel said, and even as he said it his throat tried to close around the words. "She'll be okay, Bug. Look away. Don't look at the door." He turned back and hit it again. Harder. The wood shuddered, but held. He tried the handle over and over. The way you press an elevator button when you're panicking, not because it works, but because your body needs to do something. 3 minutes. 4. He'd bloodied his knuckle on the door frame. Please, he whispered. Not to the door. He didn't know who to. The lock clicked. The door swung open by itself. The kitchen was dark. The overhead light was out. In the far corner, Sarah stood facing the wall. Still. Too still. Arms at her sides. Sarah. Daniel stepped inside. The temperature dropped with every step. He could see his own breath by the time he reached her. Sarah. Hey. Look at me. He touched her shoulder, and she turned. Her face was fine. She was fine. Her eyes were wide and wet with tears, and she looked at him like a woman who had seen the other side of something and come back changed. But she was breathing. She was there. I'm okay, she said before he could ask. Don't let her see it. See what? Sarah's eyes moved to the corner behind him. He turned. In the corner of the kitchen ceiling, where the wall met the plaster, a hand was protruding. Not breaking through. Not smashing through the wall. Simply there. As if the wall were water and something beneath it was slowly pressing its palm outward. Long fingers. Too many knuckles. Gray as old ash. Reaching. Daniel stared at it. Then he heard Lily's chair scrape against the floor in the dining room. Small footsteps approaching the kitchen. Lily, stay there. But she was already there. Already looking. Lily, don't look at it. He put his hands on her shoulders. Listen to me. Look at me. Whatever you do, don't. He watched her face. He watched the hand's reflection appear in the lenses of her glasses. Lily, no. It happened in 1 second. The reflection shimmered. The hand, still pressed against the wall across the room, too far away to touch anything, moved in the glass of her lenses. Just in the glass. A reflection doing something the real thing was not. In the lenses of Lily's glasses, the hand reached forward. In the lenses, it touched her face. Lily's expression didn't change. Her eyes didn't blink. And then she smiled. Not the smile of a teenager. A smile she had never made before in her life. Too wide. Too still. The smile of something that had just come home. Sarah made a sound that wasn't a word. Daniel grabbed Lily's face in both hands. Lily. The candle in the dining room went out. The kitchen light exploded. And from somewhere, everywhere, from inside the walls and beneath the floor and behind their own teeth, came a sound that was not a voice and not a scream and not the hollow weeping from before, but something that contained all three, layered, rising, a shriek that knew their names. The dark closed in. The last thing Sarah Mercer would ever remember about that night was not the ghost's hand, or the locked door, or the face in the window. It was the sound of her daughter's laughter, coming from every room of the house. All at once. The Mercer house is vacant now. The realtor still smiles too wide when she shows it. The neighbors still go quiet. And sometimes, late at night, if you walk past the side yard and look at the dining room window, something looks back.